Remember when you figured that by 50 you'd finally be set? House paid off, 401k looking nice and fat, actually having the choice to work or not? Now, when you sit with that thought for real, it hits you right in the gut because the math just isn't adding up the way you pictured it back then. You did everything right. Worked hard, saved what you could, stayed out of debt, put a chunk of every single paycheck away, even when it hurt. And still, when you look at your retirement statement today, one question keeps you up at night. Is this actually going to be enough? You're not behind because you were lazy. You're behind because you spent your whole life selling the one thing that runs out every single day: your time. Every dollar you ever made, you had to make all over again the next month. And the month after that, 30 years running the same race and never once crossing the finish line. Ever felt that? That moment at the end of the month when the money just vanishes into thin air, even though you're making more than you did 10 years ago. Ever looked at a buddy's life, new deck, trip to Europe, and felt that gut punch of, why can't I get there? This isn't about effort. This is a blind spot. A financial blind spot nobody ever showed you. One that had you building income your whole life when you should have been building wealth. Man, that's you, isn't it? Decades of discipline, and it still feels like the clock's running faster than your money. And the worst part? Nobody ever warned you this would happen, so you don't even know what you're up against or who to be angry at. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you 20 boring, unglamorous businesses, the kind nobody brings up at a barbecue, that quietly pay people's retirement while they sleep. But pay attention. The 20 businesses aren't the point. There's one single thing connecting all of them, and once you see it, you won't be able to look at your own finances the same way again. If that first part already hit close to home, if this feels more like your story than you'd like to admit, drop a comment below. How long have you felt like you're chasing your own tail financially, working harder every year and somehow falling further behind? And hit subscribe right now, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly where the mistake is and what to do about it starting today. Here's the part nobody tells you. The problem was never picking the wrong business. The real problem is that you, me, and pretty much everyone we know got trained our whole lives to chase the wrong thing. You were taught to chase shine, the genius idea, the impressive degree, the career that sounds good at a party, the job your parents can brag about to the neighbors. You were taught to compete for the pretty dream. The corner office, the manager title, the LinkedIn feed stacked with wins. And nobody ever told you that same pretty dream has 100,000 other people fighting for it at the same time, in the same place, for the same capped out paycheck. Ever stop and wonder why everyone wants the exact same job opening, the exact same promotion, the exact same respectable business? And why, at the same time, absolutely nobody wants to handle pest control, run portable toilets on a job site, or make change on a vending machine at 6 in the morning? That question stings because the answer is simple, and it hurts. Wealth is built exactly where nobody wants to show up. Not because the work is magic, but because that's where the competition quits before it even starts. You're not dumb for not seeing this sooner. Nobody showed you. School never taught it. Your parents probably didn't know either. You grew up believing real money comes from a genius idea, a startup, a lucky break, being the next person to invent something nobody's ever seen. And what if I told you that belief all by itself is the reason you're still chasing your own tail at 45, 50 years old? That while you were competing for the pretty dream, real money was being made quietly in the least glamorous place possible by regular people just like you, who simply stopped being ashamed of ugly work. Think about your own family for a second. Has anyone in it ever told you straight up what they actually make, what they owe, what they really have saved? Probably not. Money is a taboo we've carried since we were kids, and that silence cost you. It made you believe, your whole life, that you were doing everything right, only because nobody ever pointed you toward the other road, the boring road, the one with zero status, the only one that actually builds real wealth. My God, you've been looking in the wrong direction your whole life. And the worst part is you're probably still looking there. Let's be real for a second. No motivational fluff here. The problem was never just retirement. That's only the symptom. The real problem is a lot simpler and a lot scarier. You've spent your whole life depending on one single source of money, your paycheck. And a paycheck, by definition, dies the second you stop showing up to work. You did the math the right way back when. Put a percentage into your 401k. Trusted the market to do its part. Trusted that by 65, it'd all be sorted out. Nobody warned you about one thing, though. Inflation doesn't care about your plan. Cost of living doesn't care about your plan. Healthcare that's going to cost double in 15 years doesn't care about your plan either. Ever felt that fear, even quietly, tucked way back in your head? The fear of still working at 70, not because you want to, but because you have to. Of never actually being able to stop? That fear isn't weakness. That's math. And right now, the math isn't on your side. And here's the part that stings even more. The part nobody says out loud. You look at your friends, your family, the people in your circle, and it seems like everyone's doing fine. Remodeling the house, retiring early, posting vacation pictures, and you're standing there wondering what you did differently, what you did wrong, when the truth is nobody did anything wrong. Everyone fell into the exact same trap. Some people just noticed it sooner than others. Here's the part nobody ever taught you. Saving was never enough. It was never about how much you tucked away. It was about whether your income could survive without you showing up physically every single day to earn it. Income that depends on you being there dies when you're gone, gets sick when you're sick, disappears the day you get laid off. There's another kind of income, one that keeps coming in while you're sleeping, traveling, or just finally resting after decades of hard work. And no, this isn't about stocks, day trading, or gambling on crypto. It's about a type of business almost nobody looks at twice, but that keeps paying month after month without stopping. I'm about to show you exactly what that is. But first, understand this. This isn't just another random list of business ideas thrown together for clicks. It's proof of one single rule that can completely change the next 10, 20 years of your financial life. So here are the 20 businesses. But forget the whole list idea. I'm not going to throw 20 random names at you to memorize and forget in 5 minutes. I'm going to show you 4 groups, 4 patterns, because the pattern is what actually matters here, not the business itself. And if at any point you feel your nose wrinkle up at one of these, pay attention to that reaction, because that's exactly what separates the people stuck on a paycheck from the people building real wealth. The first group is problems nobody can put off. Pest control, portable restroom rentals on job sites, plumbing specialized in commercial kitchens, window cleaning on tall buildings. Notice something. Nobody decides on a tough month to let the roaches stick around a little longer. Nobody waits 2 weeks for a restaurant's kitchen pipe to burst. This kind of demand doesn't ask permission, doesn't care about mood or the economy. And it's exactly that discomfort, that ick factor, that scares off the competition and keeps prices high. The second group runs on contracts, not one-off sales. Bookkeeping for small businesses, residential and commercial cleaning, pressure washing storefronts, electrical work specialized in EV chargers. The secret here isn't selling more. It's not having to talk the same client into it over and over from scratch every single month. The third group is idle assets that charge rent just for existing. Parking lots in high-demand areas, self-storage, coin laundromats, heavy equipment rental. You're not selling anything. You own a space, a machine, and you charge by the hour, by the month, by the use, no smile, no sales pitch required. The fourth group lives in the niches nobody wants to fight over. Vending machines, ATM networks, small parts manufacturing nobody glamorizes, simple software that fixes one annoying problem for a small business. Too small for a big corporation to bother chasing, and too big for you to keep ignoring. Notice something. None of these businesses are sexy. None of them make dinner conversation. And that's exactly why there's still room sitting there waiting for someone willing to walk in where everyone else is too embarrassed to go. None of these are going to make you go viral. None of them are getting applause at a family cookout. But together, they've already funded retirement for people who never had an impressive resume, never got lucky, never had huge capital to start with. And if you're still thinking, that's not for me, hold on to that thought, because that's exactly the thought I'm about to tear apart. Stop with me for a second. I mean it. Actually, stop. Because what I'm about to tell you is the whole reason this video exists. Window cleaning, portable restrooms, self-storage, vending machines, bookkeeping, parking lots, 20 completely different businesses, different industries, different capital required, different physical effort, different clients. What exactly do these 20 businesses have in common? It's not the starting cost. Some of these you can start with $500, others need 200 grand. It's not the difficulty level. It's not glamour because none of them have any. It's not luck because every single one was built brick by brick. Month after month, there's one single thing, just one. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it in your own life. Every single one of them gets paid again. Next month, from the same client, without having to ask permission again, without having to convince anyone all over again, without having to start from zero every time the bank account runs dry. That's not a business model. That's the entire secret behind people who retire on their own terms. And it's the exact reason why you, with all your effort, with all your discipline, still feel like you're chasing your own tail. You don't build wealth by selling your hour over and over and over. You build wealth when something outside of you keeps getting paid even when you're not actively working that exact minute. Think about how many times in your career you had to prove your worth all over again, interview again, hit the numbers again, renew the contract again. Every single month, a brand new race, starting from zero. Meanwhile, the guy who owns the parking lot doesn't have to win anybody back. The customer just comes back, pays, and he doesn't even need to be standing there to collect. Damn. It's so obvious once someone spells it out. And nobody's ever explained it to you like that before, have they? If that just clicked for you, if your stomach just turned a little, drop a comment below right now and tell me what you're actually feeling. Anger, relief, or both at the same time. And let me know if anyone's ever laid it out for you like this before. And if this video's already been worth your time, hit that like button. Because that's what gets this in front of more people who need to hear exactly this today, before another year slips by. Now, here's the question that actually matters. What if you're 45, 50, 60 years old, and you don't have 10 years to spend learning everything from scratch? Good news. You don't need to. Here's something almost nobody tells you. You don't have to invent anything. You can buy a business that already works, a laundromat that's been running for 15 years in your neighborhood, a cleaning company with steady clients for a decade, a cash flow that's already proven with real numbers, not a promise. Buying something that's already breathing on its own is a whole lot safer than betting that something brand new is going to work out. And if buying from scratch still feels too big, there are proven service franchises out there with a ready-made playbook, mistakes already fixed by people who came before you. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're paying to skip the riskiest part, the part where most people go broke. But before you go chasing after the first business that pops up, 3 simple filters. First, recurrence. If the client has to pay again every month without you having to sell them again, that's a good sign. Second, low dependency on you being physically there all the time because the goal is freedom, not a second job in disguise. Third, demand that doesn't depend on trends or the economy, something people are always going to need, rain or shine. And the most common mistake, the one that breaks good people the most, falling right back into the trap of the exciting idea, the one that sounds brilliant but's never been tested by anyone. Burning through savings chasing something nobody's proven actually works. Another serious mistake. Jumping in without checking at least 2 or 3 years of real cash flow first, just trusting the seller's word for it. You don't need a genius idea at 50. You need one boring, proven asset that gets paid again next month without you doing anything new. And yes, there's still time. At 45, there's time. At 50, there's time. At 60, there's still time. Your clock hasn't stopped. It's just running at a different pace than you thought. And the difference between staying stuck and finally breathing again isn't going to be some lucky break. It's going to be the first phone call you make this week, asking about the real cash flow on a business that already exists instead of one more night spent hunting for the perfect idea that never actually shows up. Let me tell you about 2 people. Doesn't matter their names because you probably already know both of them, one way or another. The first one is exactly where she was 10 years ago. Same job, same paycheck, bumped up only by inflation. Same feeling of running on a treadmill that never actually goes anywhere. She works hard, always has. By 65, she's going to stop because her body forces her to, not because she chose to, and she's going to find out 30 years of hard work bought her a lot less freedom than she pictured. The second one started in the exact same spot. Same age, same paycheck, same knot in her chest. Except one day, she bought a small laundromat, one that had already been running for years with proven cash flow. It wasn't exciting. There was no Instagram post. It was just a phone call, an offer, a signature. Years later, the money from that business is still coming in, month after month, even on the days she's not thinking about it at all. The difference between the 2 of them was never intelligence. They're both just as sharp as each other. It was never luck. It was never capital either, because the second one also started with next to nothing, saving up bit by bit. No inheritance, no shortcut. The only difference was that one of them kept selling her hours until the very end, and the other one, at some point, stopped selling time and started buying it back. Maybe you're seeing a little too much of yourself in the first woman right now. That's okay. Noticing it is the one step most people never take. Most people spend their whole lives pretending everything's fine until it's too late to change anything. So here's the question I want stuck with you. Not just today, but a week from now, when you're lying in bed, wide awake, thinking about your own bank account. 10 years from now, will you still be selling your hours? Or will you have built something that keeps paying you even after the workday's over? Ordinary people don't fail because they don't work hard enough. They fail because they spend decades building income when they should have been building wealth. If this video hit home for you, the next one showing up on your screen right now walks you through exactly how to evaluate an existing business before you buy it, step by step, without falling into any of the traps I mentioned here. It's the direct continuation of everything you just heard.